Hello guys, welcome to an OP10 post-ban tier list, and I'm joined by Sirius and Leer. Welcome
Hello.
guys.
Hello.
Yeah, and we're gonna be talking about some impacts of the ban list on the upcoming metagame, and it's gonna be really interesting. I think we did some pre-sorting of some decks that we don't really wanna talk about, to be honest, like not get into too much detail. And yeah, what about we kick it off? So first on our remaining leaders is a deck that has been around since OP10, Red Zoro, and it's quite a big discussion point right away. What do you guys think about Zoro in the upcoming meta?
It's one of the biggest winners, right?
Yeah.
Because Black is gone and Toffee is gone. Both are bad matchups.
Yeah, and it beats, I think, the two most popular or strongest decks, which are Shanks and BB, right?
Yeah, true.
So I think Zoro is in a very good position.
Yeah, and
I
also,
think it will be
sorry, go ahead.
very strong at the start, like because it's an aggro deck and the meta has to adapt to it. But I don't think it will go like best deck in format because people will adapt to it.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I think we are fine with putting it in tier 1, right?
Yeah.
It also gets support with the new ST21, the Mole Gun forecast event. It's really strong, actually. Such a good card.
Here the 5 cost Luffy too.
Yeah, and 5 cost Luffy too, of course. Yeah, you're right. And I guess even the whole starter deck is good for Zoro because there's also
Yeah.
the 2k counter Sanji that's like Diable Jambe on a stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having that on the is insane.
Yeah, I personally think you still want to run Jambe, just because the Sanji character doesn't work on your leader, and there's a lot of game states where you like rely on your leader delivering the finish blow.
And it's one more down. It's
Yeah.
cheaper, right?
Yeah, exactly. But being a 2k is still very good and will come up in a lot of scenarios. But yeah, Zoro, pretty easy tier 1 core. Just demolishes Blackbeard and yeah, punishes most 4-life leaders.
Yeah, you already see it a lot on the rank ladder.
Yeah.
So people are already on it.
Yeah, the winner is insane right now, but that's always with aggro decks at the start. So
yeah,
I want to see how people adapt to it.
The landscape on ranked is kind of weird anyways right now, right? Because some people are trying to prepare for Munich Regional, which will be without bans, and a lot of people are...
Glasgow.
Yeah, or Glasgow, exactly. So it's kind of not 100% representative of what the metagame is going to look like, and with these impactful bans and a new set coming in at the same time, there's just so much to explore that we might just be missing something.
Yeah.
So, coming up next, my very own pet deck, Red Green Law. I'll let you guys kick off things because I at least know that you've been playing some Red Green Law yourself, Torben. Give me your honest opinion.
So when I started the game, it was OP04, right when Red Green Law kind of died because Zoro got popular with the Fire Fist and stuff. But I really loved the deck. It was basically the first deck I fell in love with in One Piece. And then it got banned, and then it was unplayable, and now it seems really good because even though like the Blackbeard matchup on paper sounds a little difficult because it's like removal focus, there's liberation, that KOs2 stuff, you have surprisingly much counterplay with the 3-cost Tashigi.
Yep.
And yeah, even though this deck lacks kind of high drops and it only plays 5 drops at its top end, kind of fulfills a similar role to like these aggro decks like Zoro, where it just restands Cavendish and has a lot of Don to attach to the characters, and even plays Rough Zoro, right?
Yeah, so restand with Cavendish is such a crazy thing to do. Like on those turns, you basically have 4 more Don than you should have available to you, and you also cheat in the restand for 2 Don only. So the things that I can do on pop-off turns is absolutely disgusting. Do you have an opinion on it yet, Sirius? Sorry, Tom.
I played a bit against it, and it definitely has good potential. But I wouldn't rate it as good as like Zoro. Like it surely can do some good stuff, but I'm not sure how it's like over the board against any matchup because we are gonna see a variety of a lot of matchups. So I don't know about these because I only faced it with my own decks.
Which were, for example?
Any like Shanks was kind of fine as Shanks, and that's also a big factor, right? Like, sure you can beat Shanks, but the Shankses might adapt to it, and then I think it's kind of rough.
Yeah, for sure.
Not adapted to it right now.
Yeah, that's definitely a point that most colors do have access to tech against Red Green Law quite heavily, and Red Green Law doesn't have much options available to him because he needs to stick to his game plan that much. Yeah, he needs to like always play those 1 costs. He needs to always play those 5 drops, and there's not that much space. Like you do have some options within the 5 drops and the 1 drops, but yeah, there's not that
Yeah,
much
that's
leverage.
exactly why I think it's hard to be like a consistent tier 1 deck in the meta when you can be countered by many decks.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think that especially in the earlier tournaments, it will like depend on what deck cards the top meta decks will play against other decks. Because I don't think Red Green Law will be really that popular in the first 1 or 2 regionals.
No, for sure not.
For it as well.
Like it will
Then
be
if-
after I win Essence with it, but yeah,
Mhm.
before that probably not.
Yeah, and then the question is maybe decks that tech against Zoro or Shanks, maybe these tech cards work out against Red Green Law, and then maybe Red Green Law becomes a little less good. But if these tech cards are not good against Red Green Law, then I can definitely see it. Like
Yeah,
you said, winning a regional, for example.
calling it now. But I'm okay with putting it in tier 2. Like, I can see the arguments. Like, from a long distance view, it's easy to counter. And just the fact that if Shanks, for example, puts 5-drop Marco back in the deck, which, as of right now, I don't see many people running, yeah, then it can be quite tricky. And also, Blackbeard adapting to the matchup, learning how to play it a bit better, yeah, can make a big difference. So, I personally think it has tier 1 potential. And as of my testing right now, there's only very little decks that I struggle against, but that may also be due to inexperience of players in playing against Law and the aforementioned deck building tendencies. So yeah, we still got a couple of decks to cover, so let's move on to our previous B-div, which now got taken away, their explosiveness in Jinbei. How does Luffy still stand in the metagame?
I feel like it still beats the decks it did before in the sense that even though you lack like the explosiveness of Jinbe, you're still like a deck that bounces your opponent's 4-drops, right? So I feel like, especially since the bouncer law wasn't taken away, it still does its thing. It just isn't. It doesn't get its free wins that it sometimes gets by just double drawing Jinbe, for example.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard that Jinbe is taking, like, the ban of Jinbe takes away that you can summon extra active characters. Because now you always summon them rested from Teach and from Lead ability.
It's a good point, yeah.
And that's often a lot easier to deal with when you face Doffy, when they are rested.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. There will always be something rested, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't, like, yeah.
And before,
you
like-
rested back, then it's gone.
Yeah, yeah.
But do you guys think Luffy still beats BB and Shanks?
Shanks not.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
think
it
so.
struggles against both now, honestly. Not only did Blackbeard
But yeah, true.
Gain
OP10,
liberation?
Gets a lot closer.
yeah, like, you have Liberation now, you have Kuza now, which is really, really strong as well.
I mean,
And-
Jinbe 1 doesn't do anything to the Blackbeard matchup.
I disagree, because I don't think that the Teach
Oh,
player
they
now
have
has
to
to
do
hero
armor.
power.
Oh, true. Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
maybe not at all.
But
like, you
then
could
two
argue
versus
that-
you can do it.
Maybe
True,
against the
like-
bouncer law, right? If you want to have your 2 costs. Or
But you can
either your
save it
2
on
cost blocker
cards
stick
now.
or your.
Yeah, no, you probably do still leader
Yes.
power, but you don't have to do it turn 1, like on your 2-don turn when they
You
go into
save
their...
like 3 cards, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
In your game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge, actually.
Like, if you
Yeah.
don't have a valuable bounce target, I guess, like, if they go onto their 6-don turn, you would want to lead ability so they can't go Boa into swing plus summon. But there's definitely cases in which the Jinbei ban saves you a card or two, which is
I
obviously...
guess I would put it in like tier 2 because you can go anti-aggro with the lore.
Yeah, it beats the aggro decks for sure still.
But that's it, kinda. Because you can't beat kit decks anymore, I think.
I mean, blue does have a large pool in tech options, but yeah, then always the question is, like, wouldn't you at some point rather play
Boa.
Boa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And draw cards all the time.
but it's
I
still
think
very
also-
powerful.
I think also that Luffy kind of has a problem that if Zoro is going to be tier 1, and I feel like it's also going to be really popular, then BB will play a lot of 6-cost liberations and stuff, right? So decks that attack for Zoro also end up hitting Luffy. So Luffy can't even capitalize on it getting nerfed and maybe not being as popular anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it will be like a niche pick.
I'm like kind of contemplating right now if we might want to open up a tier 3. Like, because I feel like
No,
there's...
I would put it into tier 2
No,
personally.
I'm not saying
I'm
to
not
put
sure.
Dofi there, just like in anticipation of things that are coming up. I'm kind of down
I
to
think
put...
Doffy is a good example for tier 3.
You think so?
Or Dark Horse. We have the Dark Horse tier, yeah.
I don't think it's Dark Horse. I'm like fine with
Actually,
tier
I
2.
think it's Dark Horse the more I
Really?
think about it.
Interesting.
Because it's so niche. Like, the Dark Horses are also good against certain decks, but not overall.
And maybe it ends up playing like Red Rocks and suddenly beating Kid decks. So who knows?
Like, at the same time, by the bans, you did lose some bad matchup as well, right? Like, Lucci can be really difficult for you, and BY was arguably one of your hardest matchups.
The Miwa is fun, yeah.
And I think if you just build the deck differently, like with 10-drop Kaidos, you gain a lot of
Maybe.
leverage against other decks. Like you play Red Rocks Kaidos.
Yep.
I think
We can put it into tier 2 just because the lead ability is so strong. I
yeah,
think.
the lead ability is just so good.
You get an extra card every turn if you like.
Yeah.
If you prepare it.
Okay. Shirohige, Oyaji, Newgate. Thoughts?
I haven't seen it for a long time, but I know that there was a rush build of this Whitebeard deck that was quite powerful and beat a lot of stuff, so I can see it being at least not a local deck.
Yeah, I would also see it as a dark horse for sure. Like every red deck just got straight up better, right, with the set because all of the new cards like the Sanji, the Chopper, the starter deck support, all of that is just like universally good for red decks. And yeah, Whitebeard will always sort of have something going for it in being that 6k with 6 life, and especially with Dofi being on the decline, which is one of the major reasons that held Whitebeard back, because like Whitebeard stopped performing at the point that Blue Pudding was printed, right? Because you cannot go for the powerful game plan of like gathering 12 cards in your hand and sort of just punching your opponent in the face and saying, okay, you have to end the game now, or I will do so next turn, and I likely have a billion counter and can get out of it anyways. So yeah, how about a quick dark horse here?
We always like talk about the second deck you are about to pick up because we can't see the far left decks on the capture. Like it's fine. They just always take the second deck, and then in the end,
What do you mean?
like the far left column is hidden.
Far left column is okay. You mean like Vegapunk would be hidden here?
Yeah. So just always talk about the second, and then in the end, because it fits kind of nice with all the tiers and everything. We just can't see the far left one, but that's okay.
Yeah, like this we just now talk about Ace.
Okay, so we keep some
Yeah,
spice hidden for later.
We made
Yeah.
some
All right.
on the fly.
Sure.
changes.
Okay, Red Ace. So this I kind of defended in not sending it into the local deck because with the release of last set, there were a couple of new Red Hair pirate events coming out, like specifically the 2-cost event that says it's like basically Gordon on a stick. Like this only works in Red Hair pirates, but it was like the reason why I took a look at the Red Hair events. And there's a 3-cost event that says KO 2 characters with combined power 4000 or less. And there's also the OP10 card roundtable, 4-cost, which gives minus 10,000 power to a character. So you can actually combine those two, have a 2-card combination, 7 Don, to KO, for example, a 10-cost Teach and a Vasco Shot. It's 14,000 power that you can KO with those cards. And I was like kind of liking the idea of that. And there's also the stage card that Ace has, Striker, which lets you search top 5 for an event card every single turn for 2 Don, which is obviously quite pricey. But yeah, being in Whitebeard leaders and being Ace leader himself just allows you to run a couple of cards that are really good but restricted to those types, which is like the 5-cost Rush Ace from the Whitebeard starter deck. Then you have 7-cost Rush Ace, which is also a really strong card up to this day, and even more so in a board-centric meta, like where you rest a lot of characters and want to swing into board. And then there's also just Fire Fist, the 7-cost event, which has a lot of merit in metas where like green becomes better, and yeah, I just played around with it, and it was actually surprisingly strong. And now red got this, general support in the 3-cost Sanji, and we talked about it. So I personally also think that Ace could actually be a dark horse and do something.
Yeah, I think you mentioned like this round table plus the new 2-cost spell combination, right?
Yeah, 3-cost story,
And
yeah.
3-cost spell, and I feel like because you have your lead ability, you're allowed to run it, just because these cards
Yeah,
are
exactly,
quite
yeah.
tricky, and you can just switch them for counter.
Yeah, that's the point. Like, otherwise, it's way too clunky to put into your deck, but the point is that it's always a 1k for you, and the fact that you can use it on offense can be really relevant as well. So, yeah, just pile of good red cards, and the lead ability is just pretty good. So,
Yeah, not to put it into our dark horse, or what do you think, Sirius?
I have no idea about it. Like I don't even know the leader. I just go with it.
I'm just gonna die on this hill. Okay. The community favorite, Blue Nami.
I think
Yeah.
it's like a deck that can always come up once the meta gets too control-ish. So Nami is for me like a deck that's good to exist, to have like people, like sometimes the meta could lead to people just making more and more greedy control decks because control is kind of overpowered. But Nami is kind of there to keep them in check. So for me, it's like a tier 2 deck always, because it's like once it gets too control-ish, she's there, and then she's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
agree
like,
with your.
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Okay.
you.
So I think I agree with your idea that it can keep like a meta in check if it gets too controlly, but especially with like Zoro and Shanks, I never see the meta getting to a point where Nami can really exist. I just,
True, yeah.
I
To
don't
be-
think we have like a fitting tier for this, but
Yeah, that's to me it would be a tier 3 deck in the current meta because, like with the rise of Blackbeard, the decrease of black in itself, like Gecko decks, aggression will be on the rise, and that's sort of bad for Nami. Like all these Bello Betty and what else do we have? I guess Zoro mostly, but these aggressive decks just kind of demolish. I guess Chopper even in some sense, which you can't see right now, but it's here. Yeah. So
the Nami's also said that all these Moria decks got nerfed, right?
yeah, to an extent, I
Yeah,
think
true.
so.
But
But
the Moria players will also search for something new.
yeah, but the Dofi the nerf is obviously quite good for Nami. So I could arrange myself with tier 2, like bottom of tier 2, but I'd also be like, to me it's not a dark horse. It's not a definition of dark horse, like because it's always on people's radars. Like
Yeah.
dark horse is sort of like you don't expect it, right?
And you don't know the cards, and
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes.
So are we opening up a tier 3 or is this just bottom of tier 2? Can you arrange yourself with that, Tom?
I would put it in tier 3, but I don't know if I want another tier.
I don't think there's many decks we would put in another tier. Like,
Maybe actually, like, where would you put like Rebecca or something like Queen?
a Dark Horse.
We can see. Maybe we can put it in tier 2, and then if another deck comes up
Yeah,
that's tier
yeah.
3,
Sure.
then we can open a tier.
Okay. Katakuri. What's the state of our also most beloved?
So after Zerius said Nami has the right to exist, I'm not sure. But you
Where
wanted
we
to
draw
put
the
it
line?
you wanted to put it into local stack, right? But I feel like the ability of like 10 cost Mom and just the 5 cost Nami and Kidatsu are so strong that I feel like it will never be worse than a tier 2 deck, personally.
Yeah, I did get some
It's
support.
just a very, very solid deck that does a lot of honest work, but good work.
Honest work?
Yeah.
This guy.
Triggering is honest work, yeah. Okay.
Honest. Serious, when did you start playing the game? Remind me?
Okay, maybe I didn't have too many games against it, but for me, I don't know, it feels like facing an arena deck. Sometimes I get triggered, okay, whatever.
Yeah, but
They
this
trigger,
mindset
and then
of
you get
sometimes,
triggered.
yeah, the mindset of okay, sometimes I get triggered, but then whatever. You carry that until you've like missed your third top cut because of
Okay,
zero
these
cost
things
event
happen,
or
yeah.
batch in life. Like to be completely honest, in OP04, even OP05, where Zaka was like dominating, there was still a lot of Katakuri being played, and like every single time you queue up against Katakuri, you are just like, don't do it, man. Don't do it. Like the entire game literally just comes down to how many triggers and what the quality of triggers is. Like in the first Utrecht finals, I was playing Zaka and I faced 2 Katakuris in Swiss, and one was on the second day at game state of 8 and 2. So it's like if you lose, you're out, and if you win, you get to play one more game. And I was just like sweating and praying that this guy doesn't hit any triggers, and he didn't, so I won. But Justin also faced like 3 Katakuris who triggered the hell out of him, and yeah.
And maybe it's because I'm coming from Hearthstone as well, like.
But I'm
Dark
coming from
doesn't-
Hearthstone as well.
But I played through the really RNG heavy times, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Also Zerius thinks that Yotzaron is a good card design. So, I don't know.
Okay, let's just stop it there. So, yeah, I can still agree with like bottom of tier 2 in some sense,
Above Nami,
but I
though,
feel like
above Nami.
to me it would also be a tier 3 to be fair. Like I'm really on the team open up a tier 3 at some point.
Yeah,
But-
we can do it. It's okay. That's because I'm not feeling comfortable like putting.
Yeah.
Okay, now how do I do this?
No, you click on the arrow on the. Oh yeah, no, never mind. On the. No.
What
Click on
happened?
the gear and then you
You do
say.
This
Oh
is
no.
top quality
And
content.
then add a row.
Add a
above
row
or
below. No, above.
Mhm.
It's whatever. You can change it afterwards.
Did it work? Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, let's put Nami there as well. Yeah.
Sort of like this. Yeah,
Yes, I like.
I can live with that. Alright. Moving on. Green Purple Dofi. Or I guess now
I
you can see
actually-
Smoker as well, so I have to hide it again, right?
Good.
I actually missed a top cut in Utrecht where Red Green Law won. because I lost against this deck with red purple or
Oh, really?
just
They
because I
some
got
strong
caught.
support now, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can catch people off guard with a stage that leaves all your characters rested. It's like if you haven't seen it before and you don't know how to play against it, you can catch people off guard.
Yeah, it destroyed blue Dofi, right? That was like with Birdcage, that was kind of the point. But I'm wondering against Zoro if it's enough, but because Zoro also plays like Dragon and stuff, so not sure if they can get above the Birdcage. But it definitely get some support in this set. I played a purple Luffy today, playing the entire Don Quixote new package, and then like the Senior Pink to retrieve Giant all the time, and the 8-drop into 5-drop Rosinante. That was actually kind of crazy.
The 5-drop Rosinante is really strong.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
5-drop
it's
is a
really
really good card, yeah. So yeah, seems like a tier 3 deck to me.
Yeah, I think it's a bit better
I'm
than Dark
also-
Horse. It has some great potential.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like this presence of Birdcage being able to lock out specific decks, like completely blocking them from doing what they want to do. It's very strong, and yeah, to be honest, the lead ability is just inherently strong as well. I think the main issue of the deck is that you want to run a certain critical mass of events, and then you
need
tend...
consistent draws, right?
Yeah, exactly. You tend to have like bricky hands where you just draw nothing but events, or you don't draw your events at all. It's like kind of inconsistent, I think. But it can definitely do some stuff. Is it like...
Worst case, it's a purple deck that plays Gable, right? Giant, sorry.
No, it's not a straw hat.
Oh, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you just
It's
find
either,
that
like,
out?
Of course, Giant
I
is
just
either.
found out, yeah.
There's just a lot of straw.
Oh.
Yeah, it's probably below Katakuri though,
Mhm.
and probably below Nami as well. Okay, what about one of our Dressrosa leaders, which got heavy support in this upcoming set?
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Rebecca.
I personally tested a lot of Usopp, and so I know like this Rosa support was black blue,
Mhm.
But she's the worst Usopp, kinda, right?
well, she has five life, which is like a big difference, and then also you fill your trash more easily and you draw a card every round, right? So I'm not sure what to think of Rebecca, or if there's a real reason to play it above.
I'm
Usopp.
really not a fan of one swingless every turn. I don't think that makes it like up for the one life compared to Usopp.
Yeah, and not even the fact that you miss swings into opponent's life, but also like being able to clear searchers and stuff like that. And Usopp also kind of draws a card per turn.
Every turn, like you need board for it, but if they're blocker or something or Cavendish, they have to remove it.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost a Don, and Rebecca can also whiff sometimes. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure. Probably. Go ahead.
I think the deck is a little more consistent just because of your lead ability.
Yeah,
so
possibly.
You will see like more cards to find stage. You can also play the 3-cost Kairos, right?
But I guess you can't even play 7-cost Becca, and Gecko is gone. So what are you really doing?
Why can we not play 7-cost Becca?
Because she needs an 8-drop on the board.
Oh, it doesn't work, right?
So like, what?
Yeah, I don't know
What are we really doing? Like,
maybe there's like a navy build, but then your lead ability gets really.
Yeah, honestly, I'm even like with the Gecko ban. I'm kind of down for locals deck at this point. Like, I love the deck. It hurts me, but why wouldn't we just always play
I saw
Usopp?
some people hyping it up after the ones, but I don't get it at all. Like, to me, it seems so bad.
Yeah, you can always just play Usopp instead. Like, I would gladly trade the ability to swing for a life, and also my characters are +1 cost, right? That's so much better.
Yeah, she's so much worse, I think. And I don't know how strong Usopp was, but we're gonna get to that. But I think she's much worse, so I'm fine with locals for her.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, locals deck doesn't have any particular order. We just threw it in there. Okay. Also interesting candidate for maybe Dark Horse is Blue and Yellow Queen, which is a heavy control deck, and historically has had problems against black, and also like heavy aggression. So it's kind of like, okay, we are happy that Gecko is gone, but also that makes room for more aggro decks, which is bad for us. Do you guys think Queen has some sort of spot in the meta?
Yeah, like last meta it was like locals, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the bans, a lot of bad matchups are gone, so I think it has a chance to get a Dark Horse.
Yeah, I can totally see that, because in yellow and blue, you, like, apart from just removing your opponent's stuff, you do have good anti-aggro tools if you want to, right? Like Gidatsu is always good against aggro, and Yamato, like, if you can get to your first Yamato. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think as a 4-life leader, it kind of gets gate kept by some of the aggro decks.
Yeah, it probably
But it
just
also has,
dies.
Yeah, but I think it also has this added benefit where sometimes it's wrong to swing into queen because of the leader ability and hand size stuff. And a lot of people will just not get that right if they like see the deck for the first time.
Yeah.
So you can get a little edge there.
Yeah, I don't really have much experience. I can't say. We would have to ask Fabi, but
Yeah.
I think we can all agree with Dark Horse for now. So what about Red Black Sabo? In my mind, it sort of doesn't really profit at all from the changes.
But
Like,
I'd rather say it gets worse.
yeah, black is sort of less, which is bad for you because you
Yeah,
were
you
good
want to
against
counter
black,
that.
and you also lost Gecko, right? Which was also
Yeah.
a card you played yourself.
But you
I don't
probably
think it's a local stick.
you're a little happy that Luffy got nerfed, right? It was
Yeah,
a bad
probably.
matchup.
But I don't see anything where it excels at. Like why you play the KO protection now.
I'm trying to
It's kind
think.
of wasted now.
Yeah, and can it be Shanks?
Nah, no way, right? Like how? And it's also KO protection, so Ben Beckman just kills your stuff anyways.
Yeah. And
But if you want to
and
play like,
there's so much non-KO cards now, like trashing, like bouncing, like bottom decking.
Yeah. I am having a hard time seeing it. Like you just suffered, and you were a dark horse at best in the previous set, right?
Yeah.
So I
you can
think,
put it into locals deck, yeah.
yep, fill up the 3 rows nicely. What about Bello Betty though? Blackbeard on the rise. Aggression is good. We have consistently gotten support over the last couple sets.
Black gun.
Yeah, Black
Also,
Gun.
Flash wanted to bring it to Rise, right? So it has to be decent at least.
Yeah. So
Um,
is it like tier 2
I think
already,
it's
or
better than a
like?
dark horse.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's tier 3 at least.
Definitely fits
Yeah.
like it plays out similar to Zoro, right? Like, of course, it plays differently with like the triggers and stuff, but it's a similar type of deck.
Yeah, it's more explosive, right? I think it can demolish you way harder, but it doesn't do so as consistently.
Yeah, it also gets behind really quickly.
Yeah, I think it's also quite trigger dependent.
Yeah, and the
If people
triggers are
swing
like
into it.
when people know that most triggers only work at 5 combined lives, it gets a lot worse.
Yeah.
Like most people don't know that and then are scared, but when you just swing and know that, it's rough for
Yeah.
Bello.
And the thing is, against something like Katakuri, you never really had the luxury of starving them, because the inevitable 10-drop Marm chain will then just kill you. But against Bello Betty, you can easily forego some of your early swings into life and not give them that chance to trigger. So I think it's also a big factor of the better you can play against the deck, the easier the matchup becomes. So to be, yeah, for me, it's like top of tier 3 right now from what we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So now we're getting to some big profiteers from the changes. Purple Luffy, everybody and their mothers were expecting Gum Gum Giant to be maybe restricted to 1, even completely hit, but it went untouched and heavily profited from the other colors getting hit. So to me, clear tier 1. Like,
Yeah, agreed.
It's
all
definitely strong. It struggles a bit against the new green decks, though.
that is true, yeah.
You can run Gamma Knife, but that's not a great card. So with BY, one of your best matchups is gone as well.
I'm not
So it's still a
sure.
very solid deck, but yeah.
Yeah, I can sort like you struggle against Zoro for sure, but I feel like this deck also has this spirit of if you high roll, you can Goomba stomp some matchups or some games,
Yeah.
like even not depending on the matchup. And you are quite consistent, like this 4 into 7 into 9. It's just
The Blackbeard matchup got a lot worse with Liberation, though,
that is very true, yeah.
because they don't have to bash cards anymore. Like Omam, sure, but not for Lapitaro.
Maybe it's not tier 1 actually. Because
Yeah, it
Bonnie
didn't
gets more
feel that very
popular,
thin.
and Bonnie matchup is really bad.
Yeah.
Red-green Smoker's bad, probably, right?
That's kind of fine, actually.
Oh, okay. But yeah, Blackbeard is bad, Bonnie is bad. Both of those will be very popular. Oh, yeah, okay.
And the others are like 50-50 matchups.
Yeah, you
Like,
don't
I
have
don't know what you really crush anymore.
Is Blackbeard that bad of a matchup now?
It's like 50-50.
teaches
Remember
50-50.
before in OP10 it was actually good for Purple Luffy. At least
Yeah.
from what I tested.
Yeah, but it changes.
But
a
I've
lot
also
with
heard people
Usopp and
that
Liberation.
I've also heard people say that it's Blackbeard favored now.
Yeah. Guess it depends on the Blackbeard player.
Maybe put
And
it at
Meta
top
right
of
now
tier
there's
2.
a 50%. Yeah, I'm down for tier 2.
At the very top, yeah.
Yeah. Like what I just told you, like the purple Luffy with the Dofi pirate package actually seemed really interesting. Like I was playing Red Green Law into it, and I got him down to 1 really quickly, but he just had this. He then just really started going 8-drop into Senior Pink, pick up Giant back from trash. They also play the 2-cost Foxy Pirate event that just rests a character and gives plus 2k. And they just have like 4 or 5 Don active every single turn.
You mean, yeah, they're able to cut like Mom now, right?
He,
So
they
maybe it doesn't use
they were still
visits.
playing 2 Mom, but yeah, I tried to like reconstruct this deck list. It seemed actually quite surprising. Like, and that was shocking to me because until now, Purple Luffy never really had 2 different types of lists they could run. It was like very streamlined. And yeah, I think that
Putting it into tier 2. Can we put it at the bottom of tier 1 maybe?
yeah, we could do so as well.
Okay.
We can also
Because
change it like depending on context, what else we
Yeah.
find.
Yeah, it's also just we're like trying to assess the power level of decks, right? But it's like super dependent on the meta, right? If
Yeah,
like
of
Zoro
course.
becomes 1/3 of the field, then
Yeah.
Purple Luffy is maybe not tier 1.
Yeah.
It really depends on the meta.
What about Enel? One of the more surprising sufferers
Is it a
of the
dark horse
band.
now?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just
Still does powerful stuff, right, with the 10 cost. And
Yeah.
it also gets the 10 cost Enel, which now like continuously hits you.
yeah, but not yet. That's EBO2.
Not yet.
Oh,
EV2,
sorry,
right?
yeah.
But
But
I
Doffy's gone true.
mean, I'm not sure Doffy is gone, and you still must
Yeah,
do
but-
very well into Zoro, right?
Yeah, sure. But it's like it barely got into the meta when Doffy was dominating.
Yeah, but that's because I don't think the Dofi matchup was like that good. Like I think people overhyped it. Like if you played resource conservative with Dofi and just like the only swings you do early game are with your leader, and then you just give them a pudding
Yeah,
on.
that's true. But a lot of Doffys weren't like at that level of playing the game. I think
For sure,
to
yeah,
be
yeah.
Good in the matchup.
But Enel also profits a lot from Gecko ban. Like black decks were one of their primary weaknesses. So to
But
me,
can it beat either Shanks or BB? I feel like that's a big question.
I mean, Blackbeard
I don't think
for
so.
sure no without Raigo. Like, it was already really, really hard. But actually,
And then Bonnie can also play Zoro. Like Zoro, Shanks, Teach, they're all very tough for Inner now.
yeah, I just had an idea though, which I'm not gonna share. No, aggro Enel. Like, this was a thing in
Oh, with
OP05
triggers.
when NL released, and where you just like play Ohm and Holly and all the rest events. Like, probably now there's not that many 4-cost blockers that you want to rest, but against Saka you always wanted to rest Rebecca's and stuff. But there's the 4-cost event that summons Rush NL. Like, you have to.
Crash
Focus
your
can
life
come
right
back now.
Yeah, like I could imagine that you have a chance against Blackbeard at least, and you still play Gedatsu, and like you just cut some of your more clunky stuff, fit in this package, and then maybe you can be aggressive enough to have a
Yeah,
good
I
matchup
thi-
or better matchup against Blackbeard, and then still beat like Zoro.
That sounds a lot better than like running the old build without Raigo. I think that won't work.
Yeah, like you get some space
I don't-
now, anyways.
But isn't this like the definition of Dark Horse, where like we don't know what if this deck will be good or not? Like it's not tested
Yeah.
yet.
But to be fair, like also there was the Shinoise, like the Belgian player. I think
Yeah,
he was
who-
also a
yeah.
Hearthstone player, and he's doing like these weekly tournaments. And yesterday Inel won.
Oh.
So, to me, it's even like
I mean, the
top of
leaderability is
tier 3
strong.
or even bottom of tier 2, honestly.
Okay.
I
I
think
think
that
we can put it after Bello Betty.
after Bello Betty? What about before Bello Betty? I think it's stronger than Bello.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah?
that.
I think it's just an
Okay.
inherently more powerful deck, like leadability,
Yeah.
because that's what it comes
Yeah,
down
that's
to.
true.
Okay. Yeah, Perona is also like not really happy about what happened on Sunday.
Yeah, maybe
don't
Sirius
think-
knows the most because Sirius decided to start the game in hard mode by
Yeah.
playing Corona. So
Yeah.
enlighten us.
Like Ice Age hurts a lot,
Right, Ice Age as well.
but I think it has some good potential actually. Because like
Interesting.
Ryoma always shoots a 4-cost already. Gecko was never that great in it because you had a hard time filling your trash because Ryoma had no counter and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
And you have a lot of cheap stuff that you could pair with Stussies
Mm-hmm.
and then run some Kusans for value, and you have Samurai. So I think it's one of the few black decks that still can play a lot of value.
Yeah, that's actually a good point because previously, like I also had a phase of playing a lot of Perona, and previously one of the main issues was that you actually had this, Qual der Wahl. I'm missing the English term. It was
But you
difficult
were
to.
so limited in your bricks, or
Yeah, because like you wanted to. You have so many good top end options between black and
yeah,
green,
but
right?
you're running so many bricks because of Ryoma and Samurai
Exactly. And now
all
Gecko's
the-
gone, so you don't have to worry about him anymore.
and
Like,
Ice
you,
Age.
yeah, yeah.
So 8 bricks are gone.
Wow. Okay. Perona got secretly buffed, maybe. Like against
Yeah,
Zoro, you should.
I don't think the guns are bad for her, honestly. Like, I
Also,
got
you
some
can
hope.
you can rest Jesus, right? So you
True.
can staff
Yeah.
the Blackbeard.
Oh, that's
I
actually a
think the
good point.
leaderability is really strong for board heavy meta.
It's actually a really good point. Like from the. How does it do against Purple Luffy?
I mean, it's a 4-life leader against like an Arco Ram deck that you can't really punish.
Yeah, I
And
think like
it's probably
if
bad.
Luffy Taro plus 5 drop is kind of rough to deal
Yeah, I
with,
think
right?
that's kind of a rough matchup.
Yeah.
Unless you play like Cruzans and they stick, and then you like rest their Luffy Taro and KO it with Humor.
Yeah.
And then you go Samurai, and then, yeah.
Yeah, it's worth exploring for sure. Is it like Dark
Okay,
Horse
but
material or?
is it like Dark Horse or is it tier 2? I don't know.
Yeah, T2 would be a bit far-fetched, I think.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
tier 3 is okay. Like, above Nami.
Maybe Dark Horse because people don't know it.
Yeah, I also feel more comfortable with Dark Horse than Tier 3.
Yeah.
Like top of Dark Horse, maybe. Hey. Good.
Oh.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. Green Yellow Yamato. Also like such a deck that's has like some people that love it and just always play it, and then they play against Fabi and something ridiculous happens. That's like has been my experience with the deck. Fabi telling me about how he survived or died by 1k because opponent rested 4 blockers in one turn and then swung 13 at his 9k leader.
Yeah, I thought about it, but you cannot beat Blackbeard, right? Because you can't rest their blockers.
You
And then
can't
also
rest
you're like Hody doesn't work. Since
You
you're
can
like
rest their
one
blockers.
entity.
You just play Straw Sword.
Yeah, I faced some
Okay.
Yamatos in that run it.
Like, I don't think the deck's problem is mainly Blackbeard. I think that can actually be quite playable. Because Hody also still has Rush, right? Like, his on-play only is the resting part. Like, it's still a 7-8. And
But I think the overall power level of it never felt that great. And it has no, like, unique ability to really solo games.
Also, you really suffer from like these red and purple decks playing spells that counter a lot, right?
yeah.
Like Giant and like Zoro plays also some counter spells, right? It's like
And blockers
kind of
get better
counters the deck.
now.
Yeah, and your Shanks
With Floppy
matchup is
being less,
probably
blockers get
really
better.
good.
Okay,
Yeah.
but blockers are not the problem for Yamato, right?
I
Just
mean,
rest
if you
them.
have a block on the first swing, like,
Mm.
Yeah, it's not great. Probably will need the support from the starter deck.
yeah, I'd put it into Dark Horse until then.
And also
But
Dark
also,
Horse?
I almost put it into locals deck, but
No, I think it's Dark Horse material at least. Like, to me, Dark Horse isn't necessarily worse deck than Tier 3, but just like
Yeah.
more of an unknown variable.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like, because I don't necessarily think with what we just said that Perona is... Like, I think Perona could easily be better than, like, all the Tier 3 decks
yeah,
in the right context.
we
But it's
don't
just
know.
like we don't have enough
Yeah.
information about it. And I think sort of Yamato falls in the same category to me.
Mhm.
Sure.
I just put her here.
Let's just not sort in Dark Horse then, right? Because
Yeah,
it's
sure.
like the
Yeah.
unknown.
Okay, Dark Horse
Yeah.
is not sorted. Yeah, you mentioned Gecko Moria earlier, Tyros, like the leader.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was saying. But I think some people said like the Gecko one really hurts it, but when I was facing Geckos in 09 or 08, it never really it doesn't have insane Gecko plays, like 8+ Gecko plays.
Yeah,
It's just really annoying because it can win the board with the leader ability and all the 4-drops and all that stuff. I think it still has a good shot, like not like tier 1, but I don't think it's that bad. Like I said shirts, but
yeah, I agree. Like, it's controversially enough, its geckos were never the greatest geckos, and although Ice Age hurts, you do have enough trash fill to justify running Tempest Kick, right?
yeah,
And
with Sindri.
yeah, exactly with Sindri, and your lead ability also just mills. And the
Yeah,
thing
in
is,
worst case, you could play like Inupa as well.
yeah, true. And the Hina Absalom combo is just so powerful in like a mid-range
Yeah.
meta. And yeah, I'm trying to think like if you had some way of getting like -1 cost, then
Yeah, right. So you
it
can
would be
shoot the
so
3
good.
cost.
Yeah, exactly. If you can like pop choppers, that would be so strong. So I
I
think
think the best way is like the 1 cost, right? How's it called? The Navy guy.
Yeah. He's just like the Navy guy. Wait, which one do you mean?
What's it
Belmer?
called? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a woman.
Or you could consider Tukosuta, like these two.
True, yeah, Tukas is actually a good point. Yeah, interesting.
But that's also a perfect example for Dark Horse, right? Like it has some really good potential, but you don't like it's so hard to grab it, like how good it is.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, it's interesting you rate this deck so potentially high because I feel like there's no reason to play this over, for example, Lucci. Because
It has a
Lucci
much
just
better
does
early
more
game, I think.
ability.
Yeah, I agree with Silas. It has much better early game. Like it's just a more aggressive version, and you, yeah, I guess
It struggled against black decks because of Jack, right? Because it's very focus heavy, and then they played Jack, and then you were gone, stuff like that.
yeah, and you also have some deck building space in exploring the deck with like stage, and there's also the event, 2-cost event, that is either activate main or counter, which like sacrifices 2-cost thriller bar characters and then pumps up your leader or something like that. And that has always been an interesting card, like Shadow Asgard, I think it's called. So I think with Gecko there might be stuff to explore, and we all knew how OP06, how good the deck was, and I don't think that all came down to Gecko Moria character. Like it came down to in the Black Mirrors where your opponent also plays Gecko, but if nobody's playing Gecko, I'm not sure you need it. Like
Okay. I think this is cool, but we don't need to agree on everything.
no. What about Reiju?
I had actually a Reiju arc where in OP06 I mained it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I started playing it, and then every Zaka played like the stage with Murakumo version because John won with it, right? And then kind of fell off because you can't play against so many bot decks. But I haven't tried it ever since. And I know that Luca in our server says it doesn't really quite cut it.
Yeah, the main issue is the Blackbeard matchup, from what I've heard.
And it also has a problem that if you don't draw like 2 ETGs, then you're just not winning most matchups, especially the Shanks matchup, right?
Yeah. I think Reiju's time is about to come in OP11 with some new support.
Yeah.
But also, Reiju has problems against aggression as well, because you want to keep a medium hand size, and if you are just like getting swung into your face too much, like you can't just counter it out, because then you will go to 2 little cards in hand, but if you take it, then you will get to too many cards in hand. So
I always wondered about it, but isn't like ETG so inherently broken against aggro decks? Because you cheat out like your big buddies, they cannot remove like an ETG, and it just clears the unit every round. And then with readability you draw a lot.
I mean, I think it depends on the aggro deck, right? Like, I think Purple Luffy just gives you way too many big guys, which you can't deal with. And like Zoro has 3-cost chopper, which you can't really interact with, and then he reduces your HG by 3k.
You can destroy it with Niji, right?
You can bounce it, yeah, but then you are playing Niji, and there might be 2 choppers on the board. Like, I think it's just maybe top of tier 3 or something.
Yeah, I think it's a good tier 3 deck.
Yeah. I can see it.
Quick question. Do you want to keep up this investing tempo? Because we are like at 1 hour now.
No, we should go a bit faster, yeah?
Yeah, I think we don't have to go into detail too much on everything.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's going to be really long.
Yeah. So Bonnie is a really big profiteer from the bans, right? Gecko's gone, your black matchups were your worst, and
Smoker's there, Tashiga's there.
Yeah,
sorry,
also
one, right?
Jinbei explosiveness is gone, which sort of made you sometimes lose to Dofi. So to me it's tier 1 probably above Purple Luffy. Purple Luffy matchups also really good.
Yeah, and even though you're like losing against BB and Shanks, it's only by like 5%. Like you're still 45% against 45% against these decks.
Is it so that close against Blackbeard? From what I heard, it was worse against Blackbeard than that, but I haven't played either side, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm just looking at like ladder matchup tables, but of course these are not always accurate.
Yeah. Okay, let's fasten our pace. What about Blue Boa?
I think she has like Black was her worst matchup, right?
Yeah.
By far. BY was also bad. And
she
has no removal.
Yeah, I think she's actually in a really good spot.
Yeah,
But she lost Jinbe, right? So like early on, you're not doing anything anymore. It's like the biggest problem.
it's just pure control now.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it falls into a similar spot as Green, I feel like.
yeah, but you also do still have bounce law, and
I
like
don't think she's like worse than Doffy.
no, I don't think so either. Like you should do well against Zoro, right? You should do well against Bonnie because
Why do you do well against Zoro?
I think Zoro can be too explosive.
sure
Yeah,
Zoro
because
can
you
high
can't,
roll you for sure, but you also have bounce law.
Yeah, but
but
if the
it's
characters
enough.
have rush
Cannot-
and like, do you even play Gravity Blade because Gravity Blade is so slow, right?
No, I think you
I
do.
think
really
you
sure.
want to play because of Blackbeard and Green. I think she's good, but not against Zoro.
It really depends on the meta.
To me, she's like
We
here.
have to put tier 2, yeah.
Like I think she's so much better than the tier 3 decks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Like I could even see
Yeah.
her making tier 1 at some point. Like depends on meta shifts.
The meta kind of has to settle for her to find the right build because she needs to adapt to it.
Yeah.
You can't just play her now and then face too many different decks. You need to raid.
Yeah. I guess she struggles against Shanks maybe, right?
Yeah.
Not sure
Rush
though.
and too many big guys maybe.
Yeah, hard to tell. I guess
Yeah,
Foxy's...
like,
sorry, I'm just moving on.
yeah, let's move on. Yeah.
I think Foxy suffers a bit from... because it had such a good Dofi matchup, right? Like it loses that, sort of. I mean, loses Dofi will likely still be played, but a lot less. I'm not sure if it's a Dark Horse or tier 3. Like, we know at this point what the deck does, right?
No, not really, but is it better than Below Bet yet, what it does?
No, I don't think it's better than Below.
No, don't just put it into Dark Horse, maybe even local stack, honestly.
I think Dark Horse is like I wouldn't put it into locals.
No, I
Because
think
it can be
it's...
so annoying with the 7-cost Foxy.
Yeah. And it's also like a deck that just auto-wins some matchups, right? Yeah, let's put a
Yeah.
Dark Horse. It's not sorted anyways. Yeah. Okay, Tom, now tell us about Lucci after bans. Now your time to
think
cope.
Yeah, I mean, I think it beats like everything but Blackbeard right now.
Sheesh.
So what happens is you basically you don't play Ice Age anymore, but you play Hina, and Hina is like a returnable Ice Age from trash.
Mm-hmm.
And then your Morias just become Kuzans now,
Mm-hmm.
and you also play you now cut the Spandine because you don't have these Ice Age Moria Rebecca Spandine turns anymore,
Yeah, makes sense.
but you can just play Manchery.
To then get back Rebecca, which can then get you back everything,
Yeah,
right?
so basically you do what Zaka did with like Manchery, Rebecca, Hinaluchi.
Yeah.
And I tested it a little bit, and I saw that the Shanks matchup especially would get worse because without Moria you don't have big bodies to pressure them.
Oh,
But
you
it
can
happens
run Jax, right? Jax and Tinas are good together.
Yeah, exactly. And then also with these returnable Ice Ages from trash, you are more consistent, or you have like longer breaths to remove their A drops and stuff. So I think this matchup is good, and it also Manchery is just really annoying for them to deal with.
Yeah, true, makes sense. They don't play Searcher.
Yeah, and then you kind of beat like just look at tier 1 right now. You beat every deck in it.
Yeah, do we still
Then-
play Luffy without Ice Age consistently?
Yeah, that's a big question, but it's just that with
But yeah,
Hina-
3-cost Hina is such a broken card. Like,
But the
really.
problem is you're like round 5 and round 6. Is 5 and 6 down turns are like tricky because earlier you could go
your
like
early
Ice
turns, you
Age
can't do
Lucci,
Hina
Ice
at
Age
all.
Broke. But now you either need to stick Broke on board and then you go like Hina and attack with Broke. Or on 6 you can play Hina Broke. But that's like inconsistent to get, and at that point Tempest Kick is not online. So
Isn't Kaku good?
yeah, the question is, do you play like 5-cost Kaku, maybe 6-cost Broke again? It's like there's definitely some stuff to test, but
Because I think Bonnie might be playing Urush again as well, right?
Yeah,
So
probably, but it doesn't synergize with the new Smoker.
that's true. Yeah, so maybe they don't.
yeah,
But-
not that much follow.
Like-
But I mean, he's always counter. He's decently statted.
Yeah.
He can easily be extended, like 8 on Hina into Kaku, or like 9 on
And you can
Rebecca.
run Susie as well, like run a bigger CP package to not riff, because riffing is probably more relevant now, right?
Yeah,
Because you
true.
care about drawing cards.
So he's actually still tier 2, huh? Or are you arguing even for 1?
I would put it in tier 1, but I know that it sounds a little
No, I can actually see it.
stretched, so
I can actually see it. Like,
it falls into a similar category as Red Wheel Law, I feel like, where it sounds really good, but it's not yet like tested or proven. So
I can see it, but I don't want it to be a fact, because this is my boy
You can't put
here.
it into tier 1.
Like,
But tier 2, I can
Yeah.
see it.
I'm just buying alt arts right now because I thought he was gone.
yeah,
But no, I love Lucci as well. He got me cereal, so I'm not mad if he stays around. Can we agree on tier 1 Sirius, or is it like, are we putting him top of tier 2?
Can we put it top of tier 2?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down for tier 2, it's fine.
But it's not like known yet.
Yeah. The thing is, it's always like this. If there's like some bans, and then suddenly you're just like, huh, I'll just keep playing this deck nevertheless. Sometimes it becomes even stronger than before. Like, that's not going to happen here because the geckos were way too insane.
Yeah,
But
Nice egg.
yeah, and Ice Age of course hurts a lot as well. But since the meta pretends like Lucci doesn't exist anymore, suddenly you just
Yeah.
farm all these aggro decks and green decks which think that they can just stroll around and have a good time,
Yeah,
right?
and then
And you're just
really-
like, no.
By the way, now I think Lucci can actually lose to Zoro because you don't have like Ice Age Lucci anymore,
Mm.
and your Tempest Kicks are not active. So if Zoro just plays two 3-drops,
So you can
cannot
go
suddenly
to
tier 2.
Yeah, you need like
Yeah, exactly,
broke
and
into
then-
like a Khalifa turn or something, right? To take care of the
Yeah, but
first.
if you go like second, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
I can see that. Okay, Vegapunk, are we... Is that a deck?
It's a dark horse to me.
Yeah, seems like a dark
It's
horse.
very interesting because how does it against aggro decks? Like does Zoro need to swing into it, or can it just wait until it has like 5 characters on board?
No, I
and
think
then, like, the
you actually
triggers make it
cannot
better?
afford to swing into it. Like, that's the general consensus. I mean, it destroyed Dofi, right? So shouldn't it do well against Zoro as well? But I guess the issue is with Dofi that Dofi actually needed to attack to have their maximum efficiency, and Zoro can just play characters without attacking. And I think you struggle against Bonnie.
And then also, I like to ask this question: if a deck doesn't beat either Shanks or BB, I don't think it.
Oh yeah, it's really
don't
bad
think it's-
against Shanks. I think it can play, yeah, but now, oh, hi.
Oh,
That's Lyra,
Logo.
if I remember correctly. Cutie. That gets extra points.
Yeah, we can put it into Dark Horse. I'm down.
Yeah.
Also, I played against Luigi Amato in, I think it was in another Utrecht event, and I lost against him because I didn't know it played 50 triggers. And then he gave me like a 30 minutes lecture on how that works.
So now you know it inside out.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Red Green Chopper? Sort of like similar to Zoro, right? But it can run
It
Hody.
feels like a reverse Zoro to me.
Yeah.
I face it and they just put up this army of 4k power choppers.
Yeah, it's probably just worse because of you have one less life. That's not worth it to run Hody.
Yeah,
It's
that
not
kind
enough.
of gives Shanks this out of just rushing you down, right?
True. So are we just tier 3?
I'm
Yeah, I
down to
think
put it
that's
into tier 2 in some
Tier two
sense, but
even?
I haven't tested it personally, so like
Or no,
if it's similar to
played-
Zoro, if it's just a Zoro, I can see
I
tier
faced
2.
so
but-
many and it felt so bad. Like it was such a free win.
Yeah, fair.
Like
Maybe
it
it's just
had
bad
no
builds.
question, but it was hard to finish the games off for them.
Even with Hody.
I mean, I played one. Yeah, I guess if people don't expect Holy in it and think of Red, yeah.
So are we like even at top of tier 3 or can we make this?
If for me the order in tier 3 is really hard to say.
Yeah, true.
So for me it's tier 3.
Tier 3 is also unordered now.
Soon all tiers will be unordered. What do you think about Marco? I've actually invested quite a lot of time into Marco over the last couple of sets, and he's gotten some new tools. Like there's a guy on ladder playing Animal Marco as well, like to just have a aggressive early game, which then stops the opponent from attacking your face, which was sort of Marco's main weakness. He had a bad black matchup and he had a bad Dofi matchup, so in theory he should profit from the changes. I don't know how Zoro is. I don't know how. Yeah, I can imagine Pluffy being quite difficult, but Bonnie should be favored. Yeah, I can see it in tier 2.
Yeah, I feel like all these 4 life leaders are just getting gate capped by Shanks and Zoro.
Yeah, potentially. To me, it's like, yeah, somewhere in tier 2. I don't know where to place it exactly.
Yeah. We can do the order at the end too.
Just put it here right now. But it did get Monet, it did get potentially Molgun. It did get Divine Departure potentially.
Heroes, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, although
can
Kyros
sort
doesn't
of-
really... Yeah, I guess you could do it, but it's, I think, too bricky with the top end you already have. Like, you never switching off of Sanji
Heroes
Rayleigh.
was for Boa, I was mixing it up.
Yeah, true, that's the support that Boa actually got. That's we forgot to mention it.
I can already see like this pattern that blue decks happen to be tier 2.
Pudding is I mean, she's
Right.
happy about the black nerfs, but she just dies to aggression. And yeah, probably doesn't do well against Bonnie or Pluffy either. So it's a tier 3 for me.
A pudding fan because I would have put it into locals kinda.
Does it beat Blackbeard just because it's like this?
I don't
Ram
think
deck?
so.
Nah, no way. I mean, your entire payoff is on play, right? Like your 10 drops
Yeah.
are on play. I can even see local deck, honestly.
I'm happy with
Okay.
local, yeah.
Let's open up the 4th column. Okay. What do we have now? Kagara.
I actually lost to Kalgara in my last Treasure Cup because I went like
You keep
Om
losing
Holy,
to these
Om Holy.
rogue decks, kinda, right?
As Kagara, you're losing to rogue decks, or Torben is losing to rogue decks?
Oh, Torben.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I just get cheesed. Also, I'm a Lucci main, so I shouldn't get cheesed by like
Yeah, that's
rogue
the
decks, but
anti-rogue deck.
somehow, yeah.
Okay,
So if they open like Om Holy, it's like I feel like it sounds similar to like Arena. You just play like this Om Holy combo
true,
and
yeah.
ramp out big units.
Yeah, I
I
think
just don't know if it also just gets rushed down because you take your own knife.
to me it's a dark horse. I don't like really. I can see it doing something, but I don't really know enough about it. Like it's an aggro deck. It can have space in the meta, but probably does really poorly into Bonnie.
But we know what it does, right? So like tier 3,
T3, yeah, I can see that also.
I don't think there's like a puzzle to be solved.
Yeah, true. Now we have a deck though. This is at least going tier 1.
No, I think
Yeah,
it's
we-
definitely best deck in format.
You think so?
Yeah, it's just it sort of does what Black did, where it just has removal, but it also has like the aggression to beat BB.
Yeah.
So
I
I don't.
agree
I
with
feel
that.
like it's just it gatekeeps so many decks now, and like literally the meta is evolving around it, right? Zoro is only
Yeah,
really a
it's the
thing
deck to beat,
because
right?
it beats Shanks.
How hard
And
does it
BB,
beat
of course.
Shanks? Like,
Thanks Zoro or what?
On
Yeah.
stats, it's 62% for Zoro.
Oh,
so
really?
I
pretty
haven't
hard.
tested it.
But it's
Because
also like
also
a
the
Shanks can
more-
tech, right?
Yeah, the thing is, if Shanks wants to tech for BB, it plays like more rush units and aggro stuff. And if it wants to tech for Zoro, it wants to play more control defense stuff,
And you
right?
can't take for both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly think like the Shanks deck that we'll see will be like a control-ish version that tries to sneak in some wins against Blackbeard.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, very
Like
possible.
for Lucky Rouge and then just try to end it with Gold Rogers.
Yeah, Lucky Roo is really good against Zoro, right? That should.
Yeah. And you can run it now, like 4 copies of it.
Yeah.
Because law kinda less.
Also, Lucky Rouge is really hard for Red Green Law, so
Yeah.
It's
Don't-
a
don't
lot
play
of
Red Green Law.
No,
it's
Shanks
hard,
can like
right?
tech to completely destroy Law for sure.
Shanks has a lot of tech options, like they can take in anything. Like the Tenko Shanks that shoots big guys.
Yeah,
More
Red just
rush,
has
more
such
that,
a
more
wide array of options. Good cards.
yeah, so
Like
this is
no
like
other
also a
deck.
deck that even if the meta evolves, it can just adapt. So
Yeah.
it will probably
Yeah.
for like the entirety of OP10
And it gets a
stay
starter deck
best
as well, like. But that's like down the road. Lim is actually surprisingly good with some new cards. Sort of an aggro deck as well.
Yeah, I haven't really seen her around that much, but she can tempo out 9-cost Zoro. And
Yeah.
like, what deck deals with 9-cost Zoro now?
Yeah, that's true. The issue is that
It's really
like
scary.
the issue is that Shanks also deals well with 9-cost Zoro by just like you can
Snake
put a
or
Rayleigh on
something.
him and then give him minus
Like,
1k when he attacks, and suddenly he's not scary
or
anymore.
You can remove it with Snake and Beckman or Snake and Rayleigh.
Yeah.
And also, you're just a 5-4 health leader, right? So like, Chase can just rush you down.
Yeah.
And it also loses like Zoro and stuff, so
But she's actually tier 2 for me. Like she
Yeah,
can do
I can
quite
see
some
it,
powerful things.
I'd agree.
What about Buggy? The promo is out now that Jimbe got banned, so I
And
guess
the
you
best matchup is banned, so we go back to locals with it.
probably right. Like against Zoro,
Like,
your
there
7
was
costs
some
comes
other
down way
decks
too
against
late. Yeah.
I think
like,
this-
the Fluffy matchup felt terrible for it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think this deck can definitely cheese those wins if you just don't know what it does.
Yeah.
But once you've played once against it and know like you need to like make sure it doesn't fill its board completely, then you just kind of win against it. So
Yeah.
yeah, and like locals it can cheese wins, but
What about Purple Black Luffy? Like it had a pretty bad
I don't
Luffy
think
matchup.
the bans don't do anything to it, I think.
it played Moria.
You can
though,
substitute
right?
Gecko easily.
It
Like
did play Moria, but it has infinite value. Like I played the deck a lot. And the Morias were just more value.
Okay.
And you can just run more 9-cost stuffies or Stussies instead. Like the bans don't hit it, I would say. Like,
Yeah,
So
I
you're just
agree.
you're just in black to play like the 5-cost Sanji and maybe Stassi, yeah.
Yeah.
But the good matchups are also gone. Like it was good against BY, good against Lucci.
I mean
bad
apparently
against-
Was it
Lucci
good
isn't
against
gone.
Lucci?
No, it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
really
yeah.
good against Lucci.
Really?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
everything being higher costed, and you have, yeah, so it was really good against Lucci. I'm curious
never lost it on that.
how it's against Zoro, because like if you play enough lightnings or top ropes, you should be able to handle the early aggression. And then it's also
tough, though,
you suck.
because
It
they
sucks.
keep rushing.
Yeah,
But you have a lot of blockers. Good blockers.
yeah. To me, it's like somewhere between tier 3 and tier 2, I guess.
So it's a dark horse.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
wouldn't put it in tier 3. I think it's better than tier 3.
Yeah, no, I actually like Dark Horse
Okay.
because there's room for it to be like good tier 2 if it's solved, but could also be worse than tier 3. Alright, Nico Robin, OTK. Anyone seen it? I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I feel like it falls in the same category as putting, right? Kind of does the same thing of like ramping and then playing big drops.
Yeah, but it's way better because it's a Straw Hat and can play Giant, and also leadability is just better, right? Like Banish. It's a really good keyword. I feel like it's tier 3.
Yeah, tier 3 sounds good to it.
Probably not with like the OTK
Yeah, no.
Kaido and Lin combo. That's a little cheesy, but
Yeah, but to be fair, that also gets stronger with like Black, like with Ice Age being gone and stuff like that, so maybe there's something there. I find it so funny that we are keeping this one guy, Cyrios pet deck, hidden.
yeah, we save it for the end.
Yeah, Blackbeard. Is this like just tier 1, or do we also put this in? It could also be best decks in format. It doesn't have to be a singular deck that rules over all others.
I would also put it into best deck.
Yeah, I think
These
it's
are like
good.
the
top
two
dogs.
decks
I
you
get
can beat.
power with the Shirios. Shirio's so insane.
Yeah, Shirio's really, really good. Yeah.
Like 4-cost shooter, 3-cost chopper, and then you have a 7k that can that's like not being able to KO in battle.
Yeah.
Just a 5k that swings every turn then.
And it's like, okay, there's like, you have a weakness to rush, but you can still win those matchups and you just crush everything else, right?
Yeah.
Like, even if there's some Dofi still around, like we talked about it, you don't have to leader ability as early, you have liberation, you have so many more tools, so yeah, but nothing much to explain. Red Green Smoker is interesting though. Think could even be tier 1 to be fair.
Yeah, so I tested it a little bit, like 20 games on ladder, and I kind of lost almost all of my games. And so I felt like it's really bad,
Garbage.
but then other people kept saying it's quite decent. So I probably just don't get why this deck is good, but you know.
I mean, your curve from like Sanji into Smoker, together with another 3-cost, ideally Tashigi, into like Hodi, into 8-cost kit can be insanely disgusting, right? And you do all of that, like you put in a Backman somewhere, and I mean, the lead ability is really strong, just...
You think like alone that you can play 5-turn Smoker into Tashigi.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I haven't tested it myself yet, but I think it seems really powerful from it, what it can do. Like, one of the best 8-cost kit decks, maybe the best 8-cost kit deck, right?
And it's a new deck, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know everything.
Do you guys think it has like the purple Luffy issue of like it needs to go first to do well?
I don't think so necessarily. Like, a friend of mine is also testing it a lot, and he said, for example, that he has been having a lot of success against Blackbeard and Usopp specifically, which he expects a lot of at München, so it might be a good early meta call as well. And you can hope that people don't remember that your Navy and Punk Hazard characters have plus 1k.
That's 1k all the time.
Just like
SC14.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
People just like 5k into that, it's 6k.
Okay, yep. So, also considering this for München. To me, it's like maybe top of tier 1, maybe bottom of tier 1, top of tier 2, bottom of tier 1, maybe.
Yeah, I was scared for a second.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't put it into tier 2, but...
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can also put it in tier 1, I guess. I don't...
Like, I don't have enough
it
personal experience to put it here comfortably, but...
Put it bottom there. But it can break. But it's better than the other tier 2 decks, so much better.
Let's put it top of tier 2, maybe.
No, let's put it bottom of tier 1, I'm here
Okay.
also.
Yeah.
Sugar's also a new deck, quite interesting. Can be really annoying to play against and really hard to kill. But
No
yeah,
idea about it.
it's also not really very threatening. I've played against it a bunch of times because I was facing the same guy over and over again. The Red-Green Law does really well against it, but yeah, I don't really have anything much to say about it. I think it's tier 3 at best, but probably just a local stack.
I mean, it really capitalizes or depends on having this 5-cost Rudinan to stay on board.
Yeah, true.
Like right now, there are not that many decks that can remove it, right?
Yeah, that's true,
If you don't
but
play Backman.
like looking at the top of the meta, I think you just don't do well against any of them, right?
Yeah.
Just put it Dark Horse or tier 3? What do you guys think?
I don't know. Like, you guys decide.
Maybe like tier 3 or local deck.
Alright, let's put it here.
Let's be nice.
Okay. Green Yellow Law. To me...
People love it, but it seems to be bad.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad. I think it has some upside, but to me, Red Green Law just does everything it wants to do better. Like, there's like some advantages to it. Like, you have rest in your 2k counter X-Rake. You can play a big body in the 7-drop Law, but you don't have Otama. You don't use Recent Law that well because you are always dependent on also having like the badge or the Hiyori or the Bonnie to put the card you want to summon into your life, and you just kill yourself because you play your own life, and I think you're just a lot more fragile. And yeah, to me, Red Green Law just does the things this deck
We're
wants to
putting
do
to
way better.
Tier
Dark
3?
Horse.
Could be
Or-
Dark Horse, yeah.
Okay. I feel like if it's just the worst Red Green Law, we could put it into tier 3, but Dark Horse is also fine.
I think it's too new
that's
to
kinda
like
why I would put it there.
tier 3 or what?
No, Dark Horse because it's a new deck.
Yeah, agreed. Like it's maybe not 100% figured out. So, all right. What about Usopp? Very controversial deck as well.
Yeah,
I feel like
so yeah,
For
go ahead.
Munich it's nice, but after one it gets harder. But I think Leer tested it more.
Yeah, so I put an unreasonable amount of time into this deck, and I tested a lot of versions. And I think after the bans becomes so rough because if you expect Shanks to be on top of the meta, this is like an unwinnable matchup. I feel like it's like Lucci versus BY Luffy
Yeah.
type of region.
Yeah, everything else is playable, right? But Shanks, like, and I guess RP Luffy is really rough as well because it sort of does the same thing as Shanks but faster. But yeah.
Also, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, also Purple Luffy is apparently on stats like really bad
Mm.
because you can't really deal with high drops. Like you are good at like removing 4 costs with your Zoro or even 5 costs with your Kairos. But especially for Purple Luffy that puts out the 7 drops so early, it's difficult to deal with it.
Yeah.
And it also, I have a lot more to say about it, but I don't know if we want to go so much into detail with it.
Nah, make a guide. Where do you want to put it?
Yeah.
What's your estimate? Top of tier 2? Nah, maybe middle of tier 2?
No, I don't think it's tier. Honestly, I don't think it's tier 2.
Oh.
Just because you expect. I think Shanks will never go away. Then BB is like a 50-50. I just don't see it ever becoming
I
like
have
a
the
decent
take
deck.
that if it wasn't a new deck, after the bans, it wouldn't be played.
Yeah.
Like I really love it, and I think for Munich it's like somewhere between tier 1 and tier 2. But I personally would put it into tier 3 right now.
Ah, crazy.
Sadly.
I personally put it bottom of tier 2, but yeah.
That's also okay.
This is more controversial. Let's do it like this.
Yeah, I love it.
And what about Yellow Kid? I lost against it today actually for the first time, but previously I
It's
thought
so
it's like
annoying when
really
they-
bad.
Have their permanent big blocker, right?
Yeah, true. I mean, for
I
sure
think
it's better
it's-
than Katakuri, right?
Yeah, I want to say it's like a better category kind of.
Yeah. Is that
I don't know
enough
if
to make
it's
it tier 2?
Tier
But
2.
or is it still in tier 3? Like I cannot put it above Usopp.
I don't know the matchup spread honestly.
I mean, surely
It
it folds to
apparently-
aggression.
It apparently has like a 50-50 against BB and then 54 against Shanks.
I
30
mean-
winning against Shanks apparently.
The 8-cost kid says he's activate main, right? So that's probably... Or does he say, is it an on-play to trash the life?
I'm not sure. It just has like this end of round cycle card.
Hmm.
And then also your lead ability doesn't get deactivated by BB's effect. Just kind of good.
Yeah, true.
Honestly, I would put it maybe in tier 2.
Okay.
Oh, that's kind of hard.
I mean,
Okay.
you should generally be doing well against aggro decks, right? Like you have a lot of defensive options.
Yeah, but what do you do against big guys?
Yeah,
Not
so
much.
the matchup split is basically you're fine against everything but green.
Hmm.
And then
And
it
most of the
depends
meta
on
would
like
be
how. It will just depend on how popular like Bonnie and Smoker will be.
Isn't the Shanks matchup really bad as well?
Yeah.
On stats, it's 55%. Like,
Really?
Oh, really? Like when I was playing Shanks, it felt really fine.
Like how do you
Shanks
deal
is
with
popular,
10
yeah.
drop?
Hmm?
Like how do you deal with 10 drop? Like you can close the game fast enough, right? And then...
No, from the Shanks side, it just felt really fine because I just.
Yeah,
kept
no, I'm
getting-
saying like how does Kid deal with 10
Yeah.
cost and...
They don't.
I mean, to me it feels hard to put it above Usopp, but I haven't played any Kid, so can't
I'm
really...
down to put
I
it
also
together
haven't
because-
played Kid, by the way. I just feel like I see the
I
matchup
don't-
spread. I played against it.
Can we put
For me-
Usopp in Dark Horse? I don't know, it kind of hurts me to see him in tier 3, but maybe I just have to accept that.
No, I
You
think
can
it's
put him
fine.
into Dark Horse. Sure. Let's go.
Alright. Are we moving on to Sanji? Or anything left to say about Kid?
I feel like we've talked about too many bad decks already.
So are we just putting this in tier 3? It can beat Blackbeard, but that's sort of it? Is that even
Yeah.
enough for tier 3?
I don't see
don't know,
really
tier
the
3 or
reason
low
why
key.
you would play Sanji over Shanks.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Local
But
deck?
if I'm looking at tier 3, I'm kind of like, oh, this is full cope. Only copers would bring these decks to a regional.
Yeah, but that's kind of the tier, right? Like, why would you ever bring tier 3
That's
if you could
kind of
play
local
tier 1?
too, right?
I mean, I don't
We
know.
already committed Sirius.
No, it's good. It's just like tier 3 is full cope, so we can put it there or locals. Like, I feel like Sanji would win a lot of locals compared to the other decks that we have in there.
I'm just gonna put it in tier 3 into discussion. Okay, RP Luffy does have a good Shanks matchup. It crushes Shanks.
Yeah.
We do have a deck that beats Shanks. Unfortunately, it loses hard to Blackbeard, it loses hard to Zoro, it loses hard to Bonnie. I'm not sure what it does against Luffy. Probably not that great against Smoker.
But we are also gonna adjust the build, right? Because right now it's like heavily adjusted for Doffy.
Yeah. I don't think it
I
fixes
can
your...
definitely see tier 2 because it beats Shanks.
Yeah, I can agree.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what we put in the deck.
Yeah, so Uppy Kid, I was just like kind of trolling. I mean, I played it a bit. It can do crazy things, crazy aggressive things, but yeah, it's just a local deck.
Sure.
What about Uta? I mean, green profits.
I don't
I feel like-
know.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
feel
how
like
you play over the other green decks.
You have Restand,
Yeah.
like unconditional Restand, which can be good against Blackbeard, I guess. I think it could have a better Blackbeard matchup than Bonnie.
But not then Smoker. Like, Smoker's really good against Blackbeard, right?
Yes, it is.
Also, how is it against Shanks if you just... I guess if your leader becomes minus 1k, the restands also become a little less.
Yeah,
good.
true. Probably not good against Shanks. Bottom of T2 or something?
Or tier 3.
Maybe dark. Something. You guys decide.
Something. No, I'm not deciding.
Yeah, I think it's worse than the tier 2 decks. I wouldn't put it tier 2.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put it tier 3. Okay, Zoro-Sanji is a
Okay,
dark
let's
horse
put
for me. Actually profits a lot from Dofi and Black being hit.
Okay, I don't know the deck.
The deck can do quite crazy things, actually. Could imagine that it actually has a good Shanks matchup. Could even do well against Siege. Probably does bad against Zoro. But this also gets a lot better in EBO2, so it's not the time for it yet, I think, but to be kept in mind. Regular Zabo is also probably Dark Horse as well.
Yeah, I don't know it, so...
Yeah, no Broken Ball. I've played it a lot, and I think Luca also a little bit.
Yeah.
Like Feeler, but I only played like once against it and it did like some funny shenanigans, but I'm not sure if it's like more than a gimmick deck.
I don't know, it does something very unique, right? Which is like your board being uninteractive with by simply not being there and just healing yourself up and just sending 2 big attacks every single turn. Not sure how good that is. I mean, it could do well against Blackbeard, I imagine. Probably not so against the other decks. Dark Horse or Locals deck, I think. Let's put it in Locals. BY without Gecko.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't do anything now anymore. Like you just run out of cards.
Yeah,
so
you run out of
quickly.
cards, you don't have any
Okay.
babies at some point.
Like I would personally just by feeling put into local stack, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I think until most support comes, you can leave it there.
Yeah. What about ST14? Both of you played that deck previously at tournaments?
yeah, we actually Sirius and I topped in different tournaments with
Yep.
ST14. But
True.
I think this deck is like utterly dead. Like without
Utterly
Moria, it's already just completely unplayable. Then with Ice Age, you also just
Yeah,
What
the deck
do
is
you
so little
remove, like-
tempo. The deck doesn't have any tempo, and now you use Ice Age, so it's kind of low.
Yeah, Ice Age is even way worse than Gecko, right? Like,
Yeah, like I was completely fine with the
Yeah.
Gecko ban, but the Ice Age ban really hurt my decks.
Yeah.
you also can't play like Tempest Kick or something because you have
Yeah,
trouble
can't
filling your
play,
trash. And then also like you never getting your leader ability. Like,
Yeah.
do you want to play issue in this meta or like what? It's
I mean, Isho can be decent in some matchups, but overall the deck's just not it then.
Yeah. Okay, and best for last. Sirius, take it away.
Okay.
You hit rank 1 with this before the bans, right?
Yeah.
How does Smoker
Honestly,
do
like,
without
it never
Gecko and
felt
Ice
like-
Age?
It never felt like the powerhouse, but it just did its job. Like, it just had a really solid spread overall. And Tashigi is just a really good card. Yeah, the Gecko... Honestly, the Gecko ban is not that bad for it.
Yeah, it didn't
Because
have the
I was
most
never-
powerful Geckos anyways, right?
Yeah, like, Gecko, you just played... Your best Gecko was, like, Sengoku and Kuzan in it.
Mm.
yeah. I feel like the biggest downside of Smoker is that you cannot play Manchery. which like I'm just comparing it to Lucci, right? Because the decks work kind of similarly, and you cannot really afford to play Munchry because you don't have you need like 1 Don for your lead ability and stuff. But otherwise, it can also play the Navy searches, or it's like just straight up plays the Navy package instead of Lucci, right?
Yeah, you have to.
Can you play
would-
Tempest Kick in Smoker?
You can, but I wouldn't go like 4, but you can definitely run some because Sengoku's.
Yeah, Sengoku and brand new should be enough to get you there decently fast
And you
enough,
still have
right?
a lot of strong Navy cards, right?
Yeah.
The
And
problem
you
is
can
that
afford
you.
to
Yeah.
you can afford to run a lot of bricks since you have Sengoku, and then you just discard the Navy bricks like Kuzan and Tina and all the. So it gets less bricked up as Lucci.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
just you
put
need
like
like.
next to Lucci.
And it can, like... It can do well against Zoro, right? If you build it, like, very anti-aggro.
You can,
You have
Can you
Tashigi
play
against
Lucci
Teach.
I feel like you can beat all the decks in the top.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's, like, even bottom of tier 1 to me,
You think
potentially.
it's better than Lucci, yeah?
I think it
I
has
put
more
it right
potential.
next to it. Like they're together on the top of tier 2.
Yeah, I can also see that.
Like that's why I wanted Lucci on top of tier 2 because I see Smoker there as well. So like I kind of see them like they do different things. One is better at that, or the other one's better at that. But they
So
have the
surely we
same
are not
goal, kind of.
coping that our 3 pet decks are, like, at the top of tier 2. Totally unbiased.
Yeah.
Alright, we did it. Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
it looks quite
I like
good.
the tier list.
Yeah, me too.
Yep, I'm happy.
I mean, like, tier 3 Dark Horse and locals is, like, kind of washed up, but I think our first 3 tiers are sort of
Yeah, I think
pretty
but
accurate.
I feel like the first 3 tiers, like best of tier 1, tier 2, are like solid decks. I would or maybe not kid but consider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But below that kind of rough.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, they might also, again, the meta is really fresh and stuff like especially from the Dark Horse, like stuff like Perona, like things we talked about really interested me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black
Like, do
Purple,
something.
there's definitely a lot of room to explore. This is just our first gist. We haven't played any tournaments ourselves yet in this meta, but yeah, I think we're all excited, and thank you guys so much for joining me, Tom and Sirius. Any last words?
Yeah, guys, hit the subscribe button. Go follow No Heroes.
And follow Sirius, of course, as well. And yeah, you can
Personally,
go ahead.
yeah. Personally, I really hope I'm wrong about Usopp. I would really like if this deck would be playable. We will have to. We will have to see. I really hope.
I like the
Future
leadability.
tournaments. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think it's quite controversial. Some people say it's like just play your curve and the deck is like very linear, but I also had fun while I was playing and testing it. So I also kind of hope it's not as bad. But we will just have to see. Yeah.
All right.
Subscribe, guys. Follow our socials, and see you next time.
Oh,
Thanks
Yeah,
for watching. Bye.